I want to read a quote from the Freedom Model, which I think really describes NoFap quite well. Recovery is a lifestyle built around the negative addict self-image and focused on fighting the disease of addiction. Recovery has no end. It's a state of limbo in which you constantly fear relapse and sustain a self-image of fragility that keeps you in self-doubt and fosters a permanent victimhood. This is how I felt in the 6 years when I was doing NoFap. Being on NoFap essentially means being in recovery. Being on NoFap means that you are admitting that you are not in 100% control of your fapping or PMO use. And when you admit that, it becomes self-fulfilling, because the moment you start focusing on how to battle urges, you're not focusing on what you want. Because you take the urges as a given. Urges are just you wanting it. It's a lot simpler. Urges are so mystical, man. They come out of nowhere. No one has any idea where they come from. People think it's your dopamine circuit. I assumed that for years. That's what kept me trapped. I just assumed that was my dopamine circuit firing. It wasn't. It was me wanting to PMO because I thought it'd make me feel good in that moment. And then I blamed it on the dopamine circuit. And so I spent years trying to figure out, how do I fucking fight this dopamine circuit? How do I make it stop? How do I go a long period of time so that the dopamine circuit will stop firing so that I can weaken it over time? This was a fruitless chase. And so that's what it means by recovery, aka NoFap, being a state of limbo, right? Because you're neither here nor there. You're neither recovered, nor are you admitting that you're just going to PMO all the time. You're in this state of, I don't want to, but I can't help it because of the urges. But you fail to realize the urges are you. So you're fighting an external force that you've conceptualized, when really that external force that you've conceptualized is you, and you can directly change it. So it's quite fucked up. And it's just fucked, isn't it? Can you believe it? Could you believe that an urge is actually you just wanting it? It might sound a bit strange to those of you who are still in this problem, because you think, man, if the urges were me and I wanted to stop, why can't I just stop? Because you really want to do it on the front end. Because you really see a lot of value in it on the front end. And then, because you think you're out of control, now you're not addressing why you want it on the front end. You're thinking, fuck, man, why do I want it? Look how much it's fucking up my life. Why do I want it? But low key, when you make that decision to choose porn, you know what you're doing. You very well know what you're doing. You want that massive pleasure right now so that you can have it right now, and you don't really care what happens afterwards. You do care, but you're just willing to pay that price. It's a trade that you're saying, yep, I want that. What you're failing to realize is that a lot of the stuff that you want on the front end isn't actually true. So if you think that porn is an instant portal to happiness, for instance, all it is a screen with a video playing on it that you can interpret in a sexually arousing way. That's it. All masturbation is a physical buzz. Yeah, that's it. Everything else is auxiliary. It's you. It's like, say you MO and you're like, it's that feeling is like, you're like, basically you're mentally relaxing as you MO or you PMO. And then you attribute that mental relaxation as, the porn caused the mental relaxation. It doesn't. It just happens at the same time as you doing it. So I just drink this water, yeah? Warm water. And I can just relax while I do that. You know when people drink a cup of tea and they go, the tea doesn't cause the they are just relaxed doing it. You know, that's a subjective thing. They're relaxing themselves. They're allowing themselves just to... That's what you do when you PMO, but then you blame the porn, and so then the porn's value goes up, and then you're like, fuck, I can't live without it. And then you're like, I can't live without it, I must be addicted. And then you find NoFap, and then you go down the spiral, and then you just get into it more and more and more, and then you're in this state of limbo, and then you will be there for fucking... I was there for years. I'm not saying that you will, if you follow NoFap, but just speaking from my experience and what a lot of people are messaging me about at large, man. Like, when you're in the state of limbo, it lasts until you get out of that state of limbo. And the freedom model is how you get out of that state of limbo. NoFap is literally like fucking you so hard. It fucking destroyed me so much, man. Because you're convinced that these urges are going to crop up with no rhyme or reason. It's bullshit, man. You're choosing to do it every time. Unbelievable, right? You're choosing to do it every time. You choose to do everything in your life at any given moment in accordance with what you believe to be true. If you believe porn to be this massive pleasurable thing that can take your negative emotions away, and it's the best thing to take away negative emotions, and it's the only thing to take away negative emotions, if you inflate the value so damn high, of course you're going to want it. But once you put it in its proper place and you see this is just a physical buzz that I'm choosing to engage with, and at the same time I'm choosing to relax, I'm choosing to give myself some time off, then you're seeing it in its proper light and you're like, fuck, is this actually really what I want? Do I actually want this? Can I have better distractions? If I'm the one in control the whole time, if I'm the one in control of my attention, and I'm choosing to pay attention to this video, and then that's what's relieving my stress, given that I'm the one in control of my attention, why don't I pay attention to other things when I need a distraction, when I need a break? When I need a break, why don't I pay attention to other things that are perhaps more, I don't know, fucking less costly, less damaging, less gonna piss me off afterwards? You know, if you have some bad news, you can just have a cup of tea and just chill. That's what British people do. But then, of course, if you have this inflated value of PMO in your mind, you're not going to be able to do that. You have to put PMO in its rightful place, and then you can choose. Then you're like, fuck, is this really what I want? Like, for real. Like, you wipe the sand out of your eyes, and you're like, okay, I'm the one doing it every time. I'm the one doing everything every time. Is this literally what I want? Then it's like, fuck. I could probably be happier, like, not doing this, and instead doing something else to de-stress me. Because I know I'm the only one de-stressing myself, so I can just use whatever object I want. Porn doesn't have higher distractive quality because you distract yourself, you're using your own attention. So given that I'm literally the one in full control, you're like, whoa, I'm the one in full control. This is fucked. This is pretty crazy, right? You're like, this is pretty crazy. How do I want to live my life? And it might be PMO, it might be moderation, it might be moderate PMO use. Or you might just be like, man, fuck this, like, this isn't even making me feel good. Doesn't make me feel good after. Doesn't make me feel good in the moment, because it does, but it's not it doing it, it's me doing it, so it doesn't make me feel good in the moment, I do. So given that I'm the one who's doing it, why don't I just do it? Why don't I just chill? Why don't I just distract? Why don't I just give myself a break without the shit that's actually fucking my life up or making me feel like shit? Do you get what I mean? Read The Freedom Model as always. Best book ever, I swear to God. What genius. That book is genius, man. It's so good. I keep rereading it because this is like my kind of life now. And as I read it again and again, I must have read it like 10 times. There's always quotes that I'm like, fuck, that's good. Read it, it's very good. Get it on Kindle, get it on the computer, get a real life copy. I've got a real life copy somewhere. Read that shit.